The Museum of Pop Culture, MOPOP, in Seattle is a vibrant, Frank Gehry-designed landmark. Dedicated to music, science fiction, video games, and all things pop culture. Founded in 2000 by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, it's one of Seattle's most iconic attractions. General admission to the Museum of Pop Culture, MOPOP, in Seattle costs about $28 per adult. Discounts are available for youth, seniors, military, and Washington residents, 15% off with ID. Ticket price breakdown. Adults ages 18 to 64 around $28. Youth ages 5 to 17 approximately $19 to $22 depending on the day. Children under 5, free. Seniors, 65 plus reduced rate, typically $25. Military and students, discounted tickets available with valid ID. Washington residents, 15% off year-round with proof of residency. Kurt Cobain's Fender at MOPOP. Fender Stratocaster, one of Cobain's stage-played guitars, is featured in Nirvana. Taking punk to the masses, MOPOP's ongoing exhibit. Bonnie Guitar, 1923 to 2019. Real name, Bonnie Buckingham, born in Seattle, Washington. Career highlights. Best known for her 1957 hit Dark Moon, which crossed over from the country charts to the pop charts. Magic Sam and more musicians. Here we are. Other options. City Pass Seattle, bundle MOPOP with 4 other attractions. Space Needle, aquarium, etc. for up to 50% savings. Memberships, unlimited visits, guest passes, and special event invites. Great if you plan multiple visits. Group rates, discounts for groups of 10 or more. Hours. Open daily, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed Thanksgiving and Christmas. Inside the Museum of Pop Culture you'll find the Sky Church, a massive performance hall and additional theater spaces used for concerts, film screenings, and special events. Sky Church. Signature venue, the Sky Church is MOPOP's Central Music Hall. Designed by architect Frank Gehry. Unique feature, it houses one of the largest indoor LED screens in the world. A Barco C7 black package LED wall. Purpose, hosts live concerts, multimedia shows, film screenings, and cultural events. Atmosphere, the name Sky Church comes from Jimi Hendrix's vision of a place where people of all backgrounds could gather to celebrate music. Theaters and event spaces. Seattle features a permanent exhibit called Fantasy, Worlds of Myth and Magic, which immerses visitors in legendary fantasy storytelling. It's included with general admission and showcases iconic props, costumes, and artifacts from beloved films and books. Exhibit highlights. Classic film props, see the Cowardly Lion costume from The Wizard of Oz. Epic fantasy weapons, authentic Lord of the Rings weaponry is on display. Dark Crystal, artifacts and scenes from the Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. Immersive design, the exhibit explores fantasy as one of humanity's oldest storytelling traditions, connecting myth, magic, and modern pop culture. Experience. Interactive storytelling, visitors step into realms of dragons, wizards, and mythical creatures. Cultural context, the exhibit explains how fantasy evolved from ancient myths to modern blockbusters. Family-friendly, designed for all ages, making it a popular stop for kids and adults alike. Emo-pop in Seattle does include Harry Potter items in its fantasy Worlds of Myth and Magic exhibit. But with a twist, the museum has removed all mention of J.K. Rowling due to her controversial views, while still showcasing props and costumes from the films. Harry Potter at Emo-pop. Exhibit, Fantasy, Worlds of Myth and Magic explores iconic fantasy worlds, including Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, The Wizard of Oz, and the Dark Crystal. Harry Potter props, visitors can see costumes and artifacts from the films, highlighting the work of actors, prop makers, and designers. Curatorial choice, in 2023, Emo-pop announced it had scrubbed Rowling's name from displays, focusing instead on the artistry of the films and the broader fantasy genre. Now my favorite movie since I was a kid. Mulan and Emo-pop's fantasy exhibit. Exhibit context, fantasy, worlds of myth and magic explores how myths and legends inspire modern fantasy. Mulan is presented as part of this tradition, connecting ancient Chinese folklore to contemporary pop culture. Artifacts and displays, visitors may encounter costumes, props, or interpretive panels referencing Mulan as a cultural touchstone, alongside other fantasy works like The Lord of the Rings, The Wizard of Oz, and The Dark Crystal. Cultural framing, Emo-pop emphasizes how Mulan bridges East and West, rooted in the Chinese ballad of Hua Mulan but reimagined through Disney's animated and live-action films. Why it matters. Representation, including Mulan, highlights the global reach of fantasy storytelling beyond Western traditions. Myth and magic, the exhibit situates Mulan alongside dragons, wizards, and heroes, showing how her story embodies courage, transformation, and mythic archetypes. Pop culture impact, Disney's Mulan, 1998, and the 2020 live-action remake are recognized as major cultural works that brought the legend to worldwide audiences. The Infinite Worlds of Science Fiction Room is a permanent exhibit that immerses visitors in classic and modern sci-fi storytelling. It's one of the museum's signature galleries, included with general admission. What you'll find inside: artifacts, more than 150 props, costumes, and memorabilia from iconic films and TV shows. Highlights: Star Trek uniforms and starship models. Blade Runner props inspired by Philip K. Dick's vision. Men in Black alien artifacts. Battlestar Galactica costumes and set pieces. War of the Worlds items from H.G. Wells adaptations. Interactive design: the gallery is styled like a starship interior, inviting visitors to scout unexplored worlds and discover alien civilizations. Frankenstein at M.O.Pop. Exhibit context: scared to death, the thrill of horror film, and fantasy, worlds of myth and magic. Both reference Frankenstein as a cornerstone of horror and myth. Artifacts, props, costumes, and interpretive panels highlight the monster's evolution. From Shelley's novel to Universal's 1931 film starring Boris Karloff. Cultural impact: the exhibit emphasizes how Frankenstein reflects humanity's fears of science, mortality, and identity, themes that still resonate today. Frankenstein in pop culture. Film legacy: from James Whale's 1931 classic to countless remakes, Frankenstein remains one of cinema's most enduring monsters. Modern adaptations: Guillermo del Toro's upcoming Frankenstein film, 2025, continues the tradition of reimagining Shelley's story for new audiences. Music and art: the monster has appeared in rock lyrics, Halloween iconography, and even sculpture installations, reinforcing its place in global culture. M.O.Pop in Seattle has a strong Star Wars presence, with props, costumes, and concept art featured in its pop culture collections. Fans can see authentic items from the original trilogy, making it one of the museum's most photographed sections. Star Wars at M.O.Pop. Death Star 2 filming miniature, used in Return of the Jedi, 1983. This is one of the museum's centerpiece artifacts. Greedo mask and hands, worn by Paul Blake in A New Hope, 1977. Alongside Stuart Freeborn's concept sketches. Concept art and props, displays highlight the artistry behind alien characters and starship designs. Fan connection: while M.O.Pop's collection focuses on the original trilogy, it remains a pilgrimage spot for Star Wars. Computer game room on the second floor is the Indie Game Revolution exhibit, a hands-on gallery dedicated to independent video games. It's one of the museum's most interactive spaces, letting visitors actually play games rather than just look at artifacts. Indie Game Revolution, second floor. Launched 2014 and still running as a permanent exhibit. Focus celebrates indie developers who are reshaping the gaming industry with creativity and diverse voices. Playable games features a rotating roster of 15 or over indie titles from around the world. Each visit offers new games to try. Interactive design, visitors grab a controller and dive into games ranging from puzzle adventures to experimental art projects. Community impact highlights how indie creators build communities, amplify underrepresented voices, and push gaming beyond mainstream boundaries. What you'll experience: hands-on play. Unlike traditional museum exhibits, you can sit down and play the games. Spotlight on creators, profiles of developers, coders. Jimi Hendrix's career abroad was pivotal. He found fame in London in 1966 and toured extensively across Europe until his death in 1970. His international performances cemented his reputation as one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Hendrix's breakthrough abroad. London arrival, 1966. Hendrix moved to London after struggling to gain traction in the US. Within months, he formed the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell. UK success. His debut album Are You Experienced, 1967, hit number 2 on the UK charts, with singles like Purple Haze and Hey Joe becoming instant classics. European tours. Hendrix toured across England, France, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, and the Netherlands, building a devoted following. Iconic international performances. Monterey Pop Festival, 1967, USA. Though back in America, this performance was arranged after his UK success. Hendrix famously set his guitar on fire, shocking US audiences. Isle of Wight Festival, 1970, UK. One of his last major shows, playing to over 600,000 fans. Berlin and Scandinavia, 1970. Hendrix performed in Germany, Denmark, and Sweden just weeks before his death. Final show, September 6, 1970, at the Love and Peace Festival on the Isle of Fehmarn, Germany. His last full concert. Legacy of Hendrix abroad. Hendrix's European breakthrough proved that sometimes artists need to leave home to find success. His London years connected him with Eric Clapton, Pete Townsend, and other British rock icons, fueling the British Invasion sound. Today, Hendrix. Asian Comics, Evolution of an Art Form. The largest ever exhibition of Asian comic art in North America. It runs through January 4, 2026 and is included with general admission. Exhibit highlights. Scale, over 400 original artworks from across Asia, Japan, China, India, Vietnam, Cambodia, Bhutan, and more. Diversity goes far beyond manga, showcasing traditional storytelling forms like Rajasthani Kavids alongside modern digital comics. Themes, organized thematically rather than by country, so visitors see how different cultures tackled similar ideas. From folklore to freedom of expression. Creators features acclaimed artists including queer voices like Jangaro Tagame, whose My Brother's Husband broke ground in Japan for LGBTQIA+ representation. Interactive elements, hands-on pop-ups and multimedia experiences connect comics to fashion, music, video games, and film. Why it matters. Global impact. Asian comics have shaped visual storytelling worldwide, influencing everything from superhero design to video game aesthetics. Representation. The exhibit highlights how comics became a platform for exploring identity, politics, and social change. Seattle Connection, MOPOP's cosplay and indie comics community makes this exhibit. Here my favorite cartoon is Detective Conan. My Tanti Conan is one of Japan's longest-running and most beloved anime series, known internationally as Case Closed. It began airing in 1996 and continues today with over 1,180 episodes, dozens of movies, and a massive global fan base. Story overview. Main character, Shinichi Kudo, a teenage detective, is poisoned by a criminal organization and transformed into a child. Alias, he adopts the name Conan Edogawa, a nod to Arthur Conan Doyle and Japanese mystery writer Edogawa Ranpo. Plot: while living with his childhood friend Ran Muri and her detective father, Conan secretly solves cases while investigating the syndicate that poisoned him. The Space Needle and Chihuly Garden and Glass are two of Seattle's most iconic attractions, located side by side at Seattle Center. In next episode we will visit Chihuly Garden and Glass.